Good day to you all. My name is Andrew Williamson and I am Vice President of Government Affairs and Economic Advisor at Huawei Technologies, based in Shenzhen, China. Huawei has been present in Poland for 17 years, supporting all major mobile operators, as well as enterprise customers and consumers. We made it possible for millions of Poles to enjoy the benefits of high-speed mobile broadband, with wide coverage at low cost, one of the lowest in the whole of the EU. Moreover, as a provider of photovoltaic solutions, we proudly support Poland's transformation towards the green economy. Business aside, we are also dedicated to supporting local communities in Poland, to building a more inclusive environment and powering the ecosystem of innovations. As a proud partner of the National Museum in Warsaw, we helped digitize a key exhibition so that citizens around the country could still enjoy it during lockdown from the safety of their own homes. Through our cooperation with the Special Olympics in Poland, we also support unique athletes with disabilities so that they can succeed in worldwide tournaments. As the organizer of Huawei Startup Challenge, we also fuel the great innovation potential of Poland and help many promising startups scale their businesses. For years, we've been a partner of Poland's top universities, supporting them with knowledge exchange and cutting-edge equipment so that they can advance their research and educate world-class experts in ICT. Thousands of Polish students have also participated in our initiatives for students, in our Seeds for the Future programme and our ICT Academy. Now to the subject in hand. It is my distinct pleasure to talk to you today on the always interesting topic of what the world of the near future will look like. How will our societies and economies unfold over the next 25 years? As one of the world's leading technology companies, we have an arguably better insight to this than most, especially where digital technologies are headed and their likely impact on our lives. 25 years ahead might be a little too challenging to predict, even for the very best futurists. But we believe a realistic vision for 2030 might not be so difficult, as many of the foundations and directions of travel are already in place. My reason for saying this? It just so happens that my company, Huawei, has recently completed an extensive and exhaustive research project that aims to imagine what the world will look like by the end of this decade, based on some of the amazing technological trends that will take us there. Let me take this opportunity to share the key findings with you. The internet currently connects 4.6 billion people on around 20 billion separate devices. It has undoubtedly transformed how we all live and work. But that same internet is also rapidly evolving from a customer-orientated one to an industrial internet. Huawei predicts that by 2030 there will be more than 200 billion global connections. Most of them will be machine to machine. Moreover, we are likely to have 10 gigabit per second connectivity available to every enterprise, households, and individuals by then. Huawei has been tireless in its exploration of what the world of 2030 could realistically look like. Over the past 3 years, we have hosted more than 2,000 seminars, bringing together over 1,000 academics, customers, and partners. Based on these discussions, our experts from around the world have compiled our thoughts on the next decade into this report, Intelligent World 2030. We lay out 8 main areas for exploration, spanning multiple disciplines and domains, to answer questions like how can information communication technologies help people overcome the problems and challenges that we collectively face? How can technology be a force for good and make our lives more comfortable and productive? Over the next 8 years, what opportunities do organizations and individuals need to ready themselves for? Huawei believes that collaboration is essential for future exploration. Over the past 3 years, in addition to our own Huawei experts who have been building their own insights and plans for the future, our Global Industry Vision 2030 research team has also been communicating extensively with industry scholars, customers and partners. We have studied data, methodologies and insight reports from prominent research teams around the world, including the United Nations, GSMA and other third-party consulting firms. Our GIV 2030 research team used trend extrapolation and time series forecasting to a select group of quantitative metrics. In so doing, we arrived at a set of likely digital technological capabilities that best undergird digital capabilities by 2030, and what that could enable across our 8 sectors of interest. Our first domain is energy. We expect that global energy production will be less carbon intensive and more intelligent by 2030. New types of power plants will be generating electricity from renewable energy sources, such as in lakes and nearshore marine areas. An energy internet will have started to emerge with digital technologies connecting generation grid load storage, including virtual power plants and an energy cloud. Zero carbon data centers and zero carbon telecom towers could become a realistic possibility. Overall, we expect the proportion of renewables in global electricity generation to be nearing 50% by the end of the decade. By 2030, our transport systems are likely to have incorporated multiple innovations across many different dimensions. We forecast that 50% of all new automotive vehicles sold globally will be electric vehicles. Vehicles using green energy and controlled by autonomous driving technology will provide us with a mobile third space. Indeed, we forecast that fully autonomous vehicles will represent 1 in 5 of all new vehicles sold by the end of the decade. In addition, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft will make emergency rescues that much faster, reduce the costs of delivering emergency medical supplies, and may even start changing how people commute within cities. Mobility solutions will be that much more efficient, customized and shared, meaning that vehicles will be used much more consistently and travel should have become that much more greener. All of these will require secure and stable autonomous driving algorithms, cost-effective and reliable sensors, high-speed, stable airspace, ground integrated networks, and a central brain with massive computing power for city-level traffic management. Our next domain of interest is food production. By 2030, we forecast that many of the world's agriculturalists will be able to routinely produce visualized data graphs, which will make precision farming possible. The constant collection of data from plants will also enable us to control factors affecting crop growth, such as temperature and humidity, so that we can build vertical farms unaffected by the uncertainties of climate and weather. 3D printing technologies will also introduce the possibility of artificial meat, designed according to taste and dietary requirements. By 2030, we will be building more resilient and sustainable food systems and relying on real-time data and analytics rather than the vagaries of the heavens. Now to our living spaces. Our homes will be increasingly ordered and digitalized. We will manage our possessions with a digital catalogue powered by a 10 gigabit network, 3D imagery and other technologies. What this means is that we could greatly improve the sharing economy. Automatic delivery systems could bring household items from shared warehouses to our doors whenever we need them. Intelligent management systems that control our physical surroundings for automatic interactions will mean that many of the new buildings where we live and work may produce net zero carbon. Homes will have started to manage themselves and adapt to our detailed preferences. Next generation IoT operating systems will also enable people to live and work in adaptive environments that understand their needs. This will all be possible because we estimate that over 20% of global households will have access to at least 10 gigabit fiber broadband by the end of the decade. Our cities will be increasingly smarter by 2030. The spread of new digital infrastructure will make for better management of the urban environment, with more efficient use of resources and more effective city governance. Centralized digital platforms for government processes and services will make government services user-friendly and easier to access. This will all help create more comfortable and livable cities. Next, to the business world. By 2030, digital transformation will have brought a new wave of modernization to enterprises and a productivity boom. Companies will be using more productive machines such as collaborative robots and autonomous mobile robots. We expect the number of robots per 10,000 workers globally in the manufacturing sector to have more than tripled by 2030 from where we are in 2022. New business models will be more people-centric with increased flexibility in manufacturing, logistics and other activities. Digitalization will help companies interweave and graphically monitor their global supply chains for better resilience in the face of dynamic market environments. We forecast that AI computing will account on average for 7% of a company's total IT investment by the end of the decade. Many companies will be utilizing super-fast 10 gigabit Wi-Fi networks. Our next sector is healthcare. We predict that by 2030, sensitive biosensors will be in widespread use. Massive amounts of health data will be stored on the cloud, making health computable. People will be able to proactively manage their health, shifting focus from treatment to prevention. Driven by technologies such as the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence, personalized treatments will also become a reality. Portable medical devices will enable people to access coordinated telemedicine services from the comfort of their homes. Disease spread modeling and understanding will have undergone a profound change and improvement by the end of the decade. Looking forward to 2030, we will be using technologies such as blockchain and AI to better protect user privacy and data assets, to fight against digital fakes and fake news more effectively, and to reduce the risk of fraud and data theft. PEC and other technologies will enable data sharing with secure encryption, maintaining the value generated by data flows while protecting privacy. We expect 85% of enterprises to be using blockchain applications by the end of this decade. This will need to be combined with privacy and security regulations such as the General Data Protection Regulation, and we expect similar regulations to be adopted by many other countries around the world. Used together, these measures will deliver an intelligent world with digital trust. A robust digital trust ecosystem needs the cooperation of multiple parties. Companies will need to maintain their own legal compliance and manage the compliance of their partners. And they may also need to work with regulators to fight against information security violations and data monopolies, as well as to protect user data security. We suggest that companies should also proactively support public education and training to help build better digital skills and awareness of data and privacy issues in the community. Working together, we can build an intelligent world with digital trust. John Maynard Keynes, the famous economist, said that practical men who believe themselves to be quite exempt from any intellectual influence are usually the slaves of some defunct economist. It might now be time to update that famous phrase to economists who believe themselves to be quite exempt from any intellectual influence are usually the slaves of some defunct technologist. Thank you very much for listening. I hope this information was insightful.